Hello, my name is Eliza de Vries, and this is video number 98. I wanted to hop on 1 week after our election to discuss the transition that is taking place in the United States or being held up. And also, I wanted to talk about healthcare, what the outcome is going to be on that in the Supreme Court. What is the movement with the Republicans going to be over the next few weeks? And before I start, I wanted to show this gorgeous stone that was sent to me by my friend Michelle in memory of my beautiful dog Bingo, who died about a month ago of a heart attack very suddenly one night. And so I was so moved to get that just before I'm about to sit down and do a reading. So I wanted to basically see about this transition, how long it was going to take. Rather than going totally astrologically, I'm going to do a combination of astrology and intuition. Noting, as we spoke before, that Mars is having its last fling with Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter toward the end of this month. So the sense of relief that we felt with the election, there's still a sense of fear and edginess being triggered by the lack of cooperation on the part of the Republicans. It's been appalling, but predictable. So the first thing I wanted to say is that we are going to have this Mars, which is retrograde now. In a week, it's going to shift forward, and then it's going to come back again and square Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. And that's going to be, I feel, the president's last hurrah. As we spoke in the last video, in December, Saturn and Jupiter in the third week of December will be going into Aquarius. That is the real time that we will be starting the new 20-year shift of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. And it will be in a much broader, more forward-thinking sign. Aquarius is the child of the future. It portends of new technologies, of shifts in the understanding of humanitarian needs. And it brings forth a more eclectic, unusual, and diverse capability for perspectives to come together and assist each other. And sorry, I've had a little trouble getting this right. And so that does not actually conjunct until the 21st of December. Does that mean you're going to have to go through the agony of watching our president hum and haw and drag his heels and pull people out of major positions? Let's take a look. Let's see what's going to happen. I do feel that he is imploding right now. I feel he's mentally unbalanced right now, and the fact that he's pulling people out of defense positions, and they've been given the nuclear codes to people that are of his ilk, and that he is basically in a violent mood, does not give us a sense of inner peace. But I do feel that Joe Biden is correctly approaching it to keep moving forward with calmness, with setting up the transitional teams, and with a sense of inner strength that all will be well once we get through this rough patch. So I'd like to look, we're getting on the 14th, which is getting into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the new moon in Scorpio. So by then, the new moon in Scorpio is coming along, and it's going to be affecting our, like we've been on the dark side of the moon, so we've been dealing with all the stuff from the past. When the new moon in Scorpio comes, the idea, the acceptance of the phoenix coming from the ashes, the idea of the transition. Literally, a transition is death. So death to the party that is, and a acknowledgement of the new way. That should start to settle in with people, I would say probably by Friday or Saturday, but it doesn't mean that the president is on board. I just feel that more and more people, as the time goes by and the ballots that are brought forward are of no consequence, proving there was not voter fraud, that as these different court systems are throwing it out, despite bars sparking the fire of seeking out problems, everybody basically right now is coddling Donald Trump because there's going to be a Senate election in January in Georgia, 2 Senate elections, and so McConnell is not wishing to lose his place as Speaker of the Senate, and so he's definitely going to coddle Trump and the Trump voters to keep them on board and keep the base riled up to turn out in large numbers to beat both of these senators. So let's just see what's going to happen over the next week. Today is the 10th. Let's take this up to the 17th. See what's coming in the next week. In the United States of America, what is coming over the next week? I don't see Trump conceding in the next week. There's going to be a lot of increase in anxiety. I'm just warning you so you don't get frightened when this happens, because I do not feel this is the final outcome, but I do feel that the pressure's building of his complete disdain for Joe Biden as the president-elect. I see blockages. I see people going back into that nervous state. I see people feeling pulled in 2 directions at once. And I see that Nancy Pelosi is trying to get a handle on things as far as the money goes, because people are under incredible duress right now. There are a lot of people that can't pay their mortgages. There's a duress about the Senate choice of what's going to happen with Obamacare, and there is duress because there's no unemployment insurance being paid out, so the monies have been held back, and that's been very frightening for a lot of people. That will continue over the next week. I do want to say, without blowing my own horn too much, that all the videos I did, all the time frames and all of the predictions were correct. I'm giving the credit for that to the wonderful group of guides around me that speak directly to me and send me the right messages and are in support of the awakening that's going to eventually take place on our earth. As I feel right now, we are not into the awakening yet. I feel we are still cleansing and releasing, and that this last dinosaur roar from Donald Trump is symbolic of what's going on at the root of America, the disappointed ones, the ones that feel let down and have bought into all these conspiracy theories, like QAnon and all of that nonsense, and have been genuinely torn apart by their president, in whom they have put so much belief and confidence. So let's go from the 17th to the 24th, taking us into the 23rd, I believe, the sun moves into Sagittarius. So we're going to go from the 17th to the 24th. The first week, hang on, don't give up, hold your faith, pray for the right thing to happen, put light around the situation, and don't pour a lot of energy into what the president's doing or not doing. So let's see that second week. 17th to the 24th, when the sun has just moved into Sagittarius. It's a much more positive week. There's a sense of the country it's almost like a ship that's been on its side righting itself again. There is a sense of divine leadership taking over is from the heavens. There is a sense of security and strength and solidity being restored. I do see that there is still some, Donald Trump is still, this is the card of someone carrying forward grievances and feeling, and a bit of a thief in the night. So I do feel Donald Trump is knowing full well at some level of his being that he's lost by 5 million votes, is still going to try to make it seem like the election was stolen from him. And I feel when I see the Magician next to that card that he is going to do this because he's setting up a whole TV station that will pull the ones with grievances toward that station. And he's thinking, I feel, in terms of two things. Number one, he has asked for money for all the lawyers and court systems to put forth the voter fraud argument. But when he sent out those requests for donation, he said within it, if you read the fine print, that the money would not be returned and that the money could be used for other things, which of course is for his TV station or for himself or whatever. But there's no strong promise that all of that money is going to go toward courts and law. So this TV station that he's got in mind is a way of grabbing this huge block of followers and pulling them along with them so that he can continue his indoctrination of them. And it will be kind of a counter claim situation to Fox News. So it's going to be a bit in competition with Fox News. And he's got the voters. They're going to follow him. I'm not saying 70 million will follow him, but he will start with, say he asks for $5 or $6 from 50 million people. That's pulling in a lot of money every month. So there's a method, as with always with Donald Trump, when you see him sleight of hand, when you see him doing something over here, he's actually doing something over here. So the whole story of voter fraud, this is my interpretation of the cards, the whole story of voter fraud is to distract you over here that you could have been cheated in the election, but basically it's to pull money out of the supporters to set up the new way of life that he wants to have once he leaves office. He knows he's going to leave office. He's been told by Jared and by his wife to leave office, and I'm sure those are not the only ones that have been encouraging him. So he's still maintaining his position, but things are in a more stable, more grounded state of moving forward for the country. I take the Empress always as the first card that came out, as the United States, and next to it I got the High Priestess, which means the right thing is going to happen, and that intuitively even though he's acting in a sneaky way, he already knows where the ending is going to be on this. They also want the voters to stay incredibly disgruntled because, whoops, I don't know quite what's going on there. He wants the voters to stay disgruntled so they will show up in a state of angst and fear for the Senate races in January. This is one of the prime reasons that he, Mitch McConnell, and many others are trying to keep the voters in a state of unrest so that the base will be pushed to show up and not allow the Democrats to take over the Senate. Okay, so now we're from the 24th to the 1st of December. This is the final week of November. We're taking a look at that for the country. People are still waiting on him to make the decision. First few days, he's still torn, conflicted what to do, blocking the concession speech. But I do see somebody steps forward and acknowledges that Joe Biden is officially the winner. But I do see also that around the beginning of December, there's a meeting of the Electoral College, and they will be looking at all the arguments, but that ultimately, and that can take up to a month to get their opinion. So this is a process, and that's why I said in my last video, we might not know anything until December as far as actually formally conceding the election. So let's go into the first week of December, from the 2nd to the 9th of December. So hang in there and don't get frightened. It's all going to be fine. We're going to make it through. There's going to be some disgruntled people out there. There might even be some fighting on the streets. But the wave of thought, the wave of acceptance is growing over this period. The 2nd to the 9th of December. Still got opposition coming up. So these people, he stirred the pot a lot. He's really kept them in a state of agitation, torn in two directions. Here's the White House, so let's see what happens after that. Joe Biden is acknowledged. So we've got a month of this nonsense that we're going to still hear about. It will be announced that Joe Biden is the leader. I'm hearing around the 9th or 10th of December we'll get a formal acknowledgement. So don't watch all the news and get all in a big state over this, because they're going to blow it up a lot. But also people, through all the years of fear and unrest and not being able to sleep, there's kind of this feeling in a pit of our stomach that just settled there permanently for a little while. And yes, we've been dancing in the streets and we know that Joe is going to be president, but there's still, as we get calmer and we go inward and we feel the truth of what's happening, we see that we're fine. let's go to Saturn going into Aquarius. 10th to the 21st, I want to go. Jupiter in Aquarius. What is going to happen out of that? America, the Empress, is set on a new path. She's back on track with focus, and a lot of good work is being done. A lot of the Constitution will be restored, the rule of law respected again, and he will have organizational structures for the economy, for the healthcare, for the COVID, for the environment. He's going to have these incredibly brilliant expert teams in place. One thing that the guides, when I was doing readings on Joe way back in March, before anybody thought he would make it, I saw him as president, as the healer in my video. You can go back and watch that one. And basically what they told me was that he's extraordinarily calm. When you've overcome such powerful odds in life and stayed optimistic and stayed focused, which he has incredible Scorpio capacity to be focused. As much as he appears genial and free of spirit, there's also an incredibly focused part to him with his Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio. So that will be, and by that time, also we will have that Mars no longer squaring all these planets, no longer creating all that havoc. So that Mars has been pushing us since last June. It's been rallying everything up and everybody up. Okay, these two cards just went flying out of the deck. This is the one card of being patient. All the seeds have been planted and he's just waiting for the plants to show up and grow. Everything has been done at an earth level. And here is the High Priestess again. The reason I get this card for Joe is that he's incredibly, President-elect Biden, is that he is incredibly intuitive, much more than people realize. All of his planets are hanging out behind the scenes in the 12th house, which gives all of his Scorpio an extra boost of Pisces. So he's very gentle, he's very loving, but he's very intuitive. He can feel the movements and how to handle the questions. And you're going to notice when he's in being asked questions, he's going to be very calm, very relaxed. So let's just draw a few cards to see what's going to happen to healthcare, and we'll end with that. Bottom line in all of this is there was a purpose to all his suffering. There was a purpose to all of our suffering as a country, to all of our shadow being exposed, to all the revelation that was needed in order to know what to work towards and how to work toward it. So what's going to happen in the Supreme Court with healthcare? For those with pre-existing conditions, it will remain. What I'm seeing is there's a couple of things they're going to pull out of it and make a decision on, but that altogether they will see the necessity for it, and they will come together and they will see the bruising and the suffering and the illness in the country right now, and they will not kill Obamacare. That's my prediction. But there will be a couple of adjustments to it, and I see pre-existing conditions as it stays. So that's really important. And it looks like the new justice will understand the need to not kill it. That again is going to make Trump furious that he loaded the Supreme Court and then Obamacare survives. This card flew out of the deck. It's the most positive, happy card in the deck. It's the Sun, which is saying, yes, we get our wish on that. We do not lose it. It's going to be okay. If you like the video, please subscribe if you haven't already. If you would like a personal reading from me, you can write me at angelicmercy44@gmail.com. Again, stay calm. Put lots of light around Joe Biden to keep him safe, because there are a lot of people angry and we don't want anything to happen to him. So let's keep a circle of light around the new direction, not just him, but Kamala and the entire new birth of a new way, or returning to an old way, but actually surpassing the old way and really going into climate change and COVID and healthcare, and really putting together some phenomenal people. Thank you. God be with you. No matter which side of the fence you're on, let's show a little more mercy to each other, kindness, and realize that, you know, we all have similar lives. We all fear the same things. We all want to be happy within our families, with our friends, to create some kind of security. And we need to stop seeing each other as the other. God be with you. Thank you.